different companies for management and non-management people. I have taken many live programs on TV channels on psychology related subjects. I have taken many programs for hospitals, trade unions, across all political parties. I am a visiting faculty for management institutes, and from last 13 years I am practicing as a psychologist. Today we will be talking about unconditional self-acceptance. This is a very important topic. So first we will see what is exactly self, and then we will see what is acceptance. There are certain myths about acceptance. There are certain barriers about acceptance. So first we will talk about these two words. What is self? What is acceptance? Then slowly we will move on and we will talk about what is exactly unconditional self-acceptance. So what is the meaning of self? What is self? Are your actions or behavior part of yourself? Yes or no? Yes. Are your thoughts part of yourself? Yes. Are your personality characteristics part of yourself? Yes. Are your feelings, emotion part of yourself? Of course, yes. Are your sensation, what we feel in the body, are they part of your? Yes. Are your images, pictures that you see in your mind's eye are part of yourself? Of course they are, yes. Are your dreams a part of yourself? Are your bodily parts are all that yourself? These are all things which consist of self. So what is self? Self is a very conceivable thing about you that can be rated. What can be rated? These things: behavior, thoughts, personality characteristics, feelings, emotions, sensations, image, dreams, bodily parts. These are different aspects of self that can be rated. The self is extremely complex. The self is constantly changing. So it is complex, it is changing, so that is self. Then these all 8 aspects. Which 8 aspects? What we have seen, these 1, 2, 3, 4, these 8 aspects. All these 8 aspects in question can be rated, and they form part of yourself. That is, they are the part of yourself. These are different 8 aspects. Self is a very conceivable thing about you that can be rated. Self is extreme. It's very complex, and it changes over the time. What you are today, again tomorrow you will be different. Yesterday you were different. So that is what self is. What is not the part of self? This is very important. Many times, many people, they misperceive certain things about self. What is not the part of yourself? Your possessions, which has got great importance to you, are not part of yourself. What are your possessions? Your material wealth, or the relationship in which you are. These are like possessions. Your possession, your feelings about these possessions are part of yourself, not the actual material. But many times people think that this material is equal to me, but actually speaking, your feelings about these possessions are part of yourself and not the possession itself. Your possession exists as an entity independent of you. It is independent existence of an object or person that makes it not a part of yourself. No matter how important that object or person is to you, it's very important. No matter how important that matter or person, no matter how much you feel they are part of yourself, object or person, they are independent. Even if you feel they are part of myself. Yesterday on Facebook I have read, one mother writing on the Facebook, my child is everything to me. My child is equal to me. So now you can understand this is the source of this belief this thinking is a source of emotional disturbance, further emotional disturbance, because there is no clarity about this factor. Then we will talk about there are acceptance means holding healthy attitude towards about adversity. There are negative connotations about term acceptance. What do we mean by acceptance? Many times, people have certain reservations. They have certain, objections to acceptance. The word itself, the acceptance. So what we will do, what are the four important objections to the word acceptance, then we will understand. Because what happens, self-acceptance, they will say, many people, I have seen some of my clients or some people, okay, they will say, but they will not do it because they have the objection to the word acceptance. They have not understood the word acceptance. So what do we mean by acceptance? Accepting an adversity means resigning. That means, this is objection. This is objection. Accepting an adversity means resigning yourself to it. Resigning, that means what? Not doing anything, but resigning yourself something to that may or may not be changed. It is possible to change, but acceptance means what? Keeping it as it is. That is the one misconception. Not doing anything, particularly when you think that accepting an adversity that could be changed means resigning to yourself, then you will resist accepting it. So if you feel that, then you will resist. Then accepting an adversity means giving your consent to it. Accepting an adversity, consent is synonymous to word approval. If you think that accepting an adversity means consenting to it or giving one's approval, then you will resist. So that means it does not mean approving it. Yeah. So that is most important. It does not mean approving it. Accepting an adversity means condemning it. What is the meaning of condemning? Accepting and allowing, behavior that is considered, morally wrong or offensive, that is the meaning of, that means what it is, forgive, pardon, that also does not mean acceptance, Then you will, then what will happen, then you will not want to accept it, because, I have mentioned the meaning of condemning, so there are certain, behaviors which you can't accept, you cannot accept, but you can accept yourself still. But what happens many times, many people, they have this misconception that it means allowing, or that is the thing. Then they resist to acceptance. Then the finally last thing, accepting an adversity means finding it acceptable. Again, if you are being encouraged to accept an adversity, and if you think that in fact you are being encouraged to think of adversity as acceptable, the adversity or the problem, that it is acceptable, okay, fine. So say, for example, XYZ person, is stammering. So that does not mean that it is acceptable. But still I can accept my stammering and I can go ahead. It does not mean I like it, That is the most important, whatever the part is. So this is one important aspect. So now we will go ahead and we will see what is exactly, this. Event on their own do not cause to depreciate ourselves. Rather, self-depreciation is an attitude of mind we bring to these events, which results in us feeling badly about ourselves. So what happens, there are certain self-depreciation we do, self-downing, putting ourselves down, certain things we do. First we will understand that. But it is an attitude of mind. Putting down yourself, it is an attitude of your mind. That is what it means. Our belief about ourselves largely determine about our feeling of ourselves. So what we think about ourselves largely determine our feelings and behavior also. There are most common areas in which we are we depreciate ourselves. Depreciate means what? Putting down yourself, not accepting yourself, blaming your entire self. What are those areas? I have mentioned couple of them. Failing to achieve an important target or goal in life. I will just, you're failing to achieve, so you think that failure is equal to you are failure as a person. You don't think that you failed in this particular task or aspect, but you think that I am failure as a person. That is the most important. Then there are certain things. Then coming back to the second, acting incompetently in public or private. Say if you act incompetently in private or public, then again you may put down yourself. Then you may feel naak kat gayi, मुंह दिखाने के लायक मैं नहीं रहा, मेरे इज्जत का फालूदा हो गया. These kinds of a statement some people may use. Then not living up to one's standard. whatever standard I have set, if I am not living, again I may put myself down. Breaking one's ethical code, moral code. So again, this moral ethical code, say if you have a moral code of not, hurting somebody or harming somebody, and you have hurt and you have harmed somebody, then you may feel that, I have broken and then I am a bad person. So that is what the guilt will come for that. Being criticized, being ridiculed, not being accepted, approved, appreciated or loved by significant others. When not being loved, then again some people may put down. There are songs, Hindi songs full of that. जी चाहता है खुद को जला दूँ, मौत को अपने दिल से लगा लूँ. So again, when somebody is not loving, you are putting down yourself. But there are other songs also about acceptance. Just now I remembered one. हम काले हैं तो क्या हुआ दिल वाले हैं. So that means what? I don't like मैं काला हूँ, but still मैं दिल वाला हूँ. That means this aspect I don't like it, but I can accept myself, and I can look at other aspect of me. I don't put down myself entirely. That is the meaning of this song. Then having defect or handicapped, having defect, say for example obesity, HIV, stammering or any other defect, which is then vitiligo. I have seen, people, they think they put themselves down because of that particular one aspect, right? So now, see, this is one thing I have already said. Failing to then achieving, acting incompetently, you feel you acted foolishly, therefore I am a foolish person in public, right? There are so many things. Then having defect, I have already said, spectacles, some people they put themselves down because for having spectacles, then dyslexia and so on and so forth. Now coming back to another important aspect. Now this is what, these are few samples, words which we can use, examples. I am disgusting, I am failure, I am stupid, I am inferior, I am useless, I am less worthwhile, I am inadequate, I am bad, I am loser, I am unlovable, I am worthless, I am defective, I don't matter, I am pathetic, I am incompetent, I am weak, I am no good, I am not good enough. In these ways we put ourselves down. These are few samples. After some time I am going to take specific emotion and self-downing statements like guilt, depression, anxiety, envy, jealousy, how self-downing statements are there in that, and then afterwards we will see how unconditionally we can accept ourselves in spite of having these emotions. We are going to see some video clips also today. Now coming back to, there are, conditional self-depreciation and unconditional self-depreciation. I will show you the examples only. In conditional, there is a condition to put yourself down. In unconditional, you don't require any condition to put yourself down. Just few examples. I am unworthy if I get rejected, but I am accepted. I do not think of myself as unworthy. I am reading this, right? So here, if I get rejected, then I will put myself down. But if I get accepted, I will not. But unconditional self-depreciation is what? I am unworthy if I rejected, and even if I am accepted, I am still unworthy, right? That is the thing. Now, what is conditional? Again, one more example I will take. I am bad when I break my moral code, but when I live up to this code, I am not a bad person, right? But here, I am a bad when I break my moral code, and even if I live up to this code, I am still bad person. I hope I will not continue with the further example, but I hope you have understood this, that there are some people who break, who put themselves down. There are conditional and unconditional. Then there are, explicit and implicit. I will show you some examples. Explicit, these are, there are implicit and explicit self-depreciation. Just I will read the example. I am shy. This is what you can make out, that this person is putting down himself. But this implicit, this, what is this? I am shy and therefore I am inadequate. This is again implicit. So I will just clarify what is explicit. When you self-depreciation, explicit is clearly stated and clearly present in your thinking. Explicit, you can clearly identify. Implicit, you cannot clearly identify. Implicit self-depreciation. That's the important difference, right? Now here, if I failed in my exam, I would be unworthy. But here you may think explicitly, if I failed in the exam, I would really muck things up for myself. And sometimes you may, but sometimes you really put yourself down. You will not say directly, but it is, implicit. So there are, I am fat. So what is this here? This side, I am fat, therefore I am disgusting. Here, I am a bad mother. I am bad mother, therefore I am a bad person. Then, I really gave bad presentation. I really gave that bad presentation, and therefore less worthy than I would be if I gave good presentation. So, you will say this. You will not directly put down, but hidden, it is there that you are putting down yourself, right? Now, then we will see, different emotions and self-downing. Just now I have already told you. Different emotions what we feel. When we feel anxiety, it's about threat. Depression is about loss. Guilt is about breaking moral code. Shame is about falling short of your ideal in social context. Anger, when others break your rule. Hurt, somebody betrays you or put you down. Jealousy, there is a threat to valued relationship. And unhealthy envy, others have what you value and you lack. So this is the theme. Now we will see one emotion and self-downing. Now in anxiety, what self-downing, self-depreciation statement we use? I am failure or incompetent. If I do poorly in something, then I tell myself I am failure. I am worthless if I am being criticized. Say, if I am going to get criticism, then I tell myself I am unlikable person. See, prospect of being disapproved. Say, I remember one song in Rangila where Amir Khan has got that conflict in his mind. What is that song, क्या करे या ना करे, कैसी ये मुश्किल है. Because कोई तो बताए इसका हल क्या है मेरे भाई. So because he has got that fear of rejection in the mind, and he thinks the prospect of I am unlikable, I am unlikable person if I am being disapproved or rejected, or if other Urmila Mathur, she says no to me, then I am unlikable, I am no good. That is the thing. Now what are the self-depreciation statement in depression? I am failure, I am useless, I am unlovable person. I am unlovable, I am failure. Then guilt, I am bad, I am selfish. In guilt, these are two self-depreciation statements we use. Then in shame, I am insignificant, I am defective, I am repulsive. Repulsive means, grunaspadhu, ghinona hu, I am, disgusting, like that. Then hurt. Hurt में क्या होता है? We have already talked here on, I have taken one session here on overcoming hurt. So hurt में क्या होता है? When you are being betrayed, you feel you are being used, and you feel you don't deserve this kind of a treatment. Then what you tell yourself? I am unlovable, I am of no account as a person, I am unimportant or insignificant. These are the self-downing statements you use in hurt. Then unhealthy anger. I am not going to describe anger and all that, but I am going to talk only about self-depreciation. I am bad, I am unworthy. Because after anger, many people, they feel guilt. And after that guilt, they tell themselves, I am bad. They put themselves down, Envy. I am less worthy than the other person. Because other person possess more object than me, and I also want that object. So when I don't have, then I am less worthy than other person. In jealousy, you know, when there is a threat for valued relationship, then you feel jealous. I am unlovable, I am no good, I am nothing if I lose my relationship. Right? That song is there now. Lut gaye, lut gaye. You know, that means what? I am nothing if I lose things in my life. So that is the thing, you know. And on top of that, if somebody else, you know, takes my boyfriend or girlfriend, then again that feeling, sometimes it happens in love triangle, you know, and sometimes it can happen, you know, the partner may perceive that other person is interested in somebody else. Now you know, we will talk about what is conditional human worth. It implies that humans are simple organism that merit global evaluation. That means what? On the basis of part, you can evaluate the entire thing. That is the conditional, you know. It implies that person worth can go up and go down based on the presence or absence of certain conditional, you know, certain conditions. It makes errors of overgeneralization. My acting poorly means I am bad. This is overgeneralization. I acted poorly is one thing, and telling myself because I am bad. You know, I'll tell you one more example of this overgeneralization. One student came to me. He said he failed in exam. Then he said, I am a total failure. Then I told him, you failed. You passed in 10th standard also, na? So how it can be total failure? You know, he said, no. That time, you know, that was success of that time, and this success is of this time. You know, this failure is of this time, right? That's what he said. Therefore, I am total failure. You know, so but you know, then I told him, you know, that success was of that time, so this failure is of this time. How it can be total? So what error he was making? Overgeneralizing. You know, telling yourself from one particular aspect that you are total bad. Or you know, you are giving one label to yourself. Then you know, it encourages now what is unconditional acceptance of human. That is what we are coming at. Now humans are complex mixture of good, bad and neutral. Humans are too complex to merit global evaluation. Human beings are complex. You cannot rate them, you know. Whether or not certain desired conditions are present, person can accept self, others unconditionally. It avoids making error of overgeneralization. We have already said about this. My acting poorly does not mean that I am bad. I am complex human being and can act poorly and well, you know, neutrally. It acknowledges fallibility and non-perfectibility of human being. And when you follow unconditional self-acceptance philosophy, you tend to be less emotionally disturbed, you know. That is the most important thing. You know, your emotional disturbance stems from assigning conditional global evaluation of self, and then unconditional self-acceptance, you know. Now, what we will do, see, unconditional self-acceptance, what is this? The individual fully accept himself, his existence, his being, his aliveness, without any requirements or condition whatsoever. So you don't require any condition to accept yourself. That is the meaning of unconditional. I am determined to accept myself whether or not I am succeed at various tasks and whether or not I win people's approval. I fully accept myself merely because I decide to fully accept myself, and I do not need any special reason to do so. So I don't need any special reason. When you do unconditional self-acceptance, then you will have little difficulty acknowledging the undesirability of many of your traits and trying to change them while still accepting yourself. You know, you can fully accept yourself while at the same time not accepting some of your behavior. So you don't accept some of your behavior, but you can accept yourself, fully accept. I am good because I do well, or I am loved by others, but merely because I am alive. My goodness is my aliveness. I am good because I am alive, and I am worthy person because I exist. I am alive, I exist. So I can accept myself unconditionally. You can rate your traits, characteristics, deeds, performances, but not yourself. My tennis game or psychotherapeutic ability or appearance or almost any other trait may be justifiably rated or assessed. My qualities, traits, behaviors can be rated, but not my whole. That is the most important part. Even if I knew the rating of all these traits accurately, but how could I possibly get a single rating for me, myself, and for my being? So that is what we are talking about. Now we will see different emotions and irrational belief and rational belief behind different emotions. But before that, I would like to show you one video clip in which unconditional self-acceptance is explained by Dr. Albert Ellis, who is the originator of rational emotive behavior therapy. He only brought this concept, so I would like to show you that video clip.
Our concept of self-acceptance in rational emotive therapy, RET, it consists of, or is involved with, being alive is good. That's your concept. And staying alive and making yourself happy is good today and tomorrow. And these are good, meaning you choose to enjoy them. They're not good in themselves, but they're good because you choose them. And the belief that I like and enjoy my abilities that keep me alive and enjoying, and dislike my disabilities and defects that interfere with my happiness. So self-acceptance, again, is a philosophy that involves living and enjoying, but not rating yourself, which most people think is the essence of living and enjoying, and it's really the essence of falling on your goddamn face. Now, how about unconditional acceptance? Because that's what we're going to talk about today. Not conditional. I am okay if I enjoy myself or I like myself when certain things happen. But what is unconditional self-acceptance consist of? And it means accepting yourself, your life, your aliveness, your enjoyment, what you want to do, avoiding what you don't want to do, with poor achievement as well as with good achievement. And unconditional acceptance, a rare thing, which I hope to have you get by the end of this lecture, but rare, means accepting yourself even with no achievement. You still accept life and enjoyment even if you had no achievement. That would be a little difficult, but you could do it. And it means accepting yourself with little approval or with no damn approval. Unconditionally, whether or not. And that means accepting yourself with love or without love. With a good family, the original one, or the one you helped bring into existence, or without. Accepting yourself with marriage or without marriage or making. Unconditional self-acceptance, again, means accepting yourself when you know that you're efficacious, what Albert Bandura calls self-efficacy, but also without self-efficacy. If you know you're schnooky and unefficacious, you can still accept yourself. It means accepting yourself in a good environment or a crummy environment, with poor talents and abilities and with just about no talents and abilities, if that's conceivable. That's almost inconceivable that it could happen. With handicaps, stupidities, ugliness, weaknesses of body and mind, poor finances, no matter what. That's what unconditional acceptance is. You can always accept yourself. Accept yourself when you're the target of bigotries, whether they be racial, religious, political, other bigotries. Still don't put yourself down. Accepting yourself even, as all of you unfortunately will get around to, even when you're aging, you still accept yourself. And then, in emotional terms, unconditional acceptance of you means accepting yourself when you're neurotic, which most of you talented neurotics changing yourself, as we hope you will, when failing to work at therapy, even at noble RET therapy, and when working in therapy and still failing. So you see, unconditional acceptance includes many things, not just a couple of things, and it is unconditional, which means at all times, under all conditions. Now, when you don't do this, which most of you work your asses off to not do not accept yourself, then you get some dismal results. You get what we call shame, embarrassment, humiliation, feelings of inadequacy, lack of confidence, frequently shyness, withdrawal, loneliness, and the feelings, which are usually considered disturbed feelings of severe anxiety, depression, self-pity, guilt, undeservingness, which is one of the main feelings which goes with non-self-acceptance, self-punishment, self-damnation, and what's more, you might even be too sacrificial and overachieving, and those are indications of non-acceptance, unconditionally assured. Now, what are the main causes of non-acceptance or conditional self-acceptance? Because most of the world does accept themselves conditionally. When you do X, which you consider good, then you accept yourself. When you don't do Y, which you consider bad, you do accept yourself. But why do you set these nutty conditions which will tend to knock you off and get you less than what you want? And the answer is, of course, in RET, because you tell yourself asinine beliefs. You tell yourself irrational musts, shoulds, and oughts. And in terms of achievement, you tell yourself, I have to do well, not I'd like to, I must do well. And worse, you may tell yourself, I must do outstandingly well, or perfectly well, in order to accept myself. And then, lots of luck, you won't. Or I must, or and, I'd better say, you don't really say or, but and I must be approved, and then of course the worst aspects, I must be approved outstandingly by everyone, perfectly by everyone, at all times perfectly by everyone. Well, good luck on that one. And I must also, you often don't accept yourself because you say, I must arrange to get what I want without too much effort. As I said before, the way you get self-acceptance is by determination and effort. But you tell yourself, I must get everything I want, practically everything I want, without too much effort. And if I don't, I'm undeserving. I'll never be able to get what I want. And other people, of course, should help me get what I want. Now, you have these crazy ideas, these musts, these absolutistic shoulds and oughts. Then you don't accept yourself, or you accept yourself.
Yeah. Now we will see, he talks about it very clearly, Now we will talk about last thing what he talked, the musts. And, so we will see all these musts by seeing 1, 2 examples. We will take 1 emotion, and we will see, how these musts, they come, and then I don't accept myself, then I put myself down, and we will see, the self-acceptance, the philosophy, unconditional self-acceptance. Yeah. Now, depression. In depression, self-depreciation and that rigid belief, that is must. My partner has rejected me as he absolutely should not have done. Like recent Jia Khan's example. My partner has rejected me, Suraj has rejected me. He absolutely should not have done that to me. This proves that I am no good. This proves that I am no good. Then what is flexible philosophy?
I would have preferred it had my partner not rejected me, but there is no reason why she absolutely should have not done so. Unconditional self-acceptance beliefs would be, even though she rejected me, I am still a fallible human being. There is no evidence that I am no good.
Yeah. So there is a possibility that you whatever, you may be rejected. But when the person is on rigid belief, that time the person doesn't accept that possibility that you may not be liked by your mother or other people, or they may reject you. So that there is a possibility, but in flexible belief we consider that possibility. Let's see one more belief. Now you have to, now as an audience, you have to now form rational belief, right? I absolutely should not have failed in test. What do you think? What could be the flexible belief?
I could have done better.
Yeah, I could have done better. I would like to pass my test, but it is not a must, right? Now, I failed in the test, therefore I am a failure. Now, how about unconditional self-acceptance? Think.
It would have been better if I passed.
Right.
Good, but still I accept even in case of failure.
Yeah. And my failure is not equal to me. I am a fallible human being. I am a complex, unrateable human being. Failure is one aspect. It does not mean I as a person as a failure. Yes. Fallible. Mistake making.
Open to mistakes.
Who can make mistakes? Fallible. Who can make mistakes?
There cannot be a perfect.
Perfection. You can make mistake.
At times you can make mistakes.
Mistakes. That's a,
Human nature.
it's a human nature, basic imperfectibility. It's imperfection in. So I am imperfect, complex, unrateable human being. That's the important thing. Now we will see. I have another 10 beliefs in depression which can cause, but but today we will talk one emotion. Yeah, unconditional. So I failed in test. We have already spoken about that. So I am not a total failure. So I failed in this particular task. It does not mean I am total failure, and still I can accept myself. I don't need any condition to accept myself. Now we will see in anxiety. Like we have talked about depression. I have already only spoken about one aspect. I am going to take one more session here on overcoming depression, then overcoming shame, overcoming guilt, and all that, overcoming anger. All that these talks will be in future. One emotion is very deep. As some of you have attended my sessions on overcoming hurt and overcoming anxiety, that time we were talking, so how deep it is. But I am just telling you that in this emotion, one of the important component is rigid belief, and one of the thing is self-downing, or putting yourself down. What is rigid belief in anxiety? If I fail at my upcoming test, which I must not do, I would be a failure if I fail, right? See, this in depression, here you have already failed. Depression is about past. Anxiety is about future, largely. So there is a difference here, Here the thing has already not happened, but still you are putting yourself down in your mind, so that is what it is. Now, rational belief would be,
I would rather not fail at my upcoming test, but there is no law of the universe to prevent me from doing so. An unconditional self-acceptance belief would be, if I do fail, I will not be a failure. Rather, I will be a fallible human being who has failed.
yeah. So now we will see one more example. If he rejects me, if he or she rejects me, this rejection can be in interview, this rejection can be from parent, anyone from in the planet. As I think he will soon, see, the person has not yet rejected, but this person thinks in his mind, kya kare na kya kare, that song just now we have seen, that, but which he must not do. She must not do. Urmila Matondkar must say yes to my request when I am asking. So, and if she says no, then I would be no good. Now, what could be the rational belief?
rational belief could be he might have rejected, that is his view.
Correct.
So I will improve upon certain aspect, but there are a lot of other people who accept me.
Right. This is again partial acceptance. Whole acceptance we will talk. Yes.
So he may accept me, or others may accept me.
Yeah. Even when they don't accept me, still I can accept myself. I would like, if she accepts me or doesn't reject me, I will prefer that. But it is not a must. Why it is not a must? Because there is a possibility. And though so unconditional, I would be, my goodness does not depend on what others think. I am a fallible human being who has got certain good, bad and neutral traits. So that is what it is. Now we will see one more.
Although she rejects me also, I am not unlovable.
Yeah, I am not unlovable. Right. Unlikable, unlovable, so yeah, and see, because of this belief, I am unlovable, unlikable. Some people go till that suicide stage. I remember one song from Beta film. I don't remember the name of the film, but उसमें है कह दो कि तुम हो मेरी वरना जीना नहीं मुझे है मरना. Tejab, yeah. So जीना नहीं है मुझे है मरना. That means what, I am unlikable and I don't want to live now. So then you can.
Actually, it is a smoking, but हर फिक्र को मैं धुएं में उड़ाते चले.
हाँ.
That is also a good.
Yeah.
I mean, so you dissipate your whatever anxiety and all this things.
But that is not a rational song. Smoking is a defense again. Yeah, the smoking again, so that is a defense mechanism. The real problem lies in his low frustration tolerance. The smoking thing, which I can't tolerate it. What if I don't smoke? The becheni, whatever is happening, I can't tolerate it, which needs to be dealt with, and he will feel good but not feel better, he will not get better. There are many strategies which people use, so that is one thing, that is, temporary. Yeah, it's a temporary. And just now I discussed when I was down here, I'm going to take one more session on rational songs and irrational songs because that is another important. In that I'm going to include share, and that will be so because that has also got deep impact on our mind. Certain films.
This is a case where the remedy is worse than the disease.
Yeah. Correct. And see what happens. So now, if he rejects me, as I think, we have already seen, then we will see, this. Would you like to, Pradnya? Yeah. What about hurt? Just a minute. I have hurt the feeling of my parents, which I absolutely should not have done. Say, in one of my case, one of my friend, his wife, she got married. And mother-in-law was very controlling and dominating. So she wanted to control her and her husband also. So she decided not to, allow her control. So what happened, then, but she started feeling bad about herself, So this is what, because she feels that I have hurt the feeling of my mother, right? So I have hurt the feeling, guilt. So what is guilt? The guilt. I have hurt the feeling of my parents, which I absolutely should not have done, and therefore I am bad person because I am thinking for myself and I am selfish. I am bad, which I absolutely should not think, for myself. That is what. What could be the rational belief?
I have hurt the feelings of my parents. I would rather not have done so. But there is no reason why I absolutely should not have done so. Unconditional self-acceptance belief would be, I am a fallible human being for doing the wrong things rather than a bad person. I am a fallible human being.
Yeah, I am a fallible, right? What could be rigid belief in guilt? I failed to help a good friend of mine. The fact that I did not do what I absolutely should have done, it proves that I am a rotten person. So what do you think? What could be the acceptance belief? And Flexible belief? Yeah. So again, putting down yourself, a rotten person. I would like to help my friends, but it is not a must that I must all the time help. So that is the flexible belief, and it proves that I am a rotten person. My worth does not depend on what other people think. I am a fallible human being who has not helped my friend, close friend, right now, or this time, on this occasion. Right. Now how about shame? We already seen in shame, when you feel that you have broken some moral social code, that is a shame. Kaise muh dikhau? How can I show my face to others and all that? Now in shame, I have acted foolishly in front of my peers, which I absolutely should not have done. And this proves that I am an inadequate person because I have acted badly. So what could be the flexible belief? Yeah, I have acted foolishly in front of my peers. There is no reason why I absolutely should not have done so, even though I would have preferred it, I am not an inadequate person for acting in the way what I did. Rather, I am a complex, unrelatable human being. Right. What is the rigid belief? I have been having sexual feeling towards my sister, which I absolutely should not have. What could be the rational belief? I would prefer if I don't have sexual feeling towards my sister, but this is not a must, anything can come in mind, And if I have those sexual feelings, self-depreciation belief is what? And the fact that I have these feelings makes me shameful person. So again, what could be the unconditional self-acceptance belief? Yeah. So we need to challenge that I am a total shameful person, So I am a fallible human being. This thought, what we have seen, thoughts is one of the part. At the beginning of the session, if you remember, I have shown you what is self. In that I have already spoken. Thoughts, behaviors, your sensation, all are part of you. They are not equal to total you. So this thought, does not mean I am totally, shameful person. That is the thing, Now hurt. What is hurt? When you feel betrayed, or when you feel that trust is broken by other person, when you feel you don't deserve this kind of a treatment, when you feel you are being used by other people. Now my ex-girlfriend is going out with my best friend, which absolutely should not happen, and I am loving her, so she should not go, and since it is happening, this proves that I am unlovable. My ex-girlfriend is going out with my best friend. I would much rather that she did not do this, but I don't have to get this desire met. So it is not a must, The fact that she is going out with him has no bearing on the way I view my whole self. I am a fallible rather than unlovable. So again, my love. Then how about anger? We have already talked the self-depreciation statement, but now we will see the belief. You absolutely should not have criticized me. Your criticism reminds me that I am a failure. I would rather you hadn't criticized me, but there is no reason why you absolutely should not have done so. Right. Your criticism reminds me that I am a fallible and not a failure. Right. Now, many times criticism, with that unhealthy criticism, people, they get angry and they put themselves down. Right. So that can happen. Then how about envy? My friend is making more money at his job than I am. I must have what he has. And because I don't, this makes me less worthy than I would be if I had what he has. So what is the flexible belief? My friend is making more money at his job than I am. I would prefer it if I was making as much as him, but I don't have to do so, right? So I don't have to. I am not less worthy than I would be if I earn as much as my friend. Rather, I am the same fallible, unrateable human being, whether I have what he has or not. So, here the comparing, seeing the person and putting himself down. So, I remember one poem, in Marathi, I hope you understand little Marathi. In that, in this poem, मोर धुंद नाचतो म्हणून आपण का सुन्न व्हायचं, कोकिळ सुंदर गातो म्हणून आपण का खिन्न व्हायचं, तुलना करीत बसायचं नसतं ग, प्रत्येकाचं वेगळेपण असतं ग, प्रत्येकाच्या आत एक फुलणारं फूल असतं, प्रत्येकाच्या आत एक खेळणारं मूल असतं, फुलणाऱ्या या फुलासाठी, खेळणाऱ्या या मुलासाठी दार उघड, दार उघड, चिवताई चिवताई दार उघड. सो इन एनवी, the comparison is made, and then you put yourself down. After that comparison, I have seen making comparisons. पड़ोस में 365 लीटर का फ्रिज है, अपने पास 165 का ही है. उसकी बीवी मेरे बीवी से खूबसूरत है. And then feeling envy. Or there are so many ways. There are many ways in which the comparison can be made. Then jealousy. If my husband looks at another woman, which he must not do, it means that he finds her more attractive than me. This must not happen, but if it does, it proves that I am worthless. See, here only the husband is looking. But I have seen, being a counselor, the cases where actual extramarital relationship, and in that, like husband is in extramarital relationship and the wife is putting herself down. I am worthless. I am no good. I am unimportant. I am unlovable. I am, so I am unlikable. So this is where the unconditional self-acceptance also do come into picture. Does that mean approving what husband has done? No. When I have discussed 4 important objections to acceptance, that time I have clarified this important point. Does that mean not doing anything about it and resigning? No. You do whatever you can. Cost price, equation. I am going to talk about that also after some time. There are 8 important steps in unconditional self-acceptance that we will discuss after this. Now, what is a flexible belief? I would prefer it if my husband does not look at another woman or does not find her more attractive than me. However, there is no law forbidding him from doing either. So, if he does, I can still accept myself as a fallible human being who is equal in humanity with everyone else. It does not prove that I am worthless, right? Now, these are few emotions. Now, we will talk about, there is an impact on our relationship also about self-depreciation. If your base of worth as a person as being approved, then you tend to see yourself as unlikable. And then lot of things which can happen to you. Then you will try anything to get into good books of others. I say many times, लोगों को खुश करो खुद की वाट लगाओ. If self-acceptance, because if you have that belief that I must be liked by everyone, and if I don't like, people don't like me, if it is not, then I am unlovable. Then you may try anything to get into good books of others. If the self-acceptance is not there, unconditional self-acceptance, you will tend to be compliant and unassertive. You will not express your feeling. One of my relatives, they came and they said, Nilesh, we are going to US and we have one dog. Can you take care of that dog for 3 months? I said no. Then he went to another relative. They went to another relative. They wanted to say no from inside. बट दे सेड यस. फिर 3 महीने उस कुत्ते ने ऐसा परेशान करके रखा ना, रोज उनको गाली देते थे. But Abhi, the problem is, the lack of unconditional self-acceptance, because they think that, if they don't like me, I'm no good. That is a problem.
Everyone saying,
Yes.
don't say yes if you want to say no.
Yes. Now you will tend to go out of your way to please them, then, and then adhin kar dete uske, you all. I have seen